In 2021, the name was actually changed from Port Elizabeth to Gqeberha. So Gqeberha is the official name of Port Elizabeth since 2021. In this series, I ride the Big Three to commemorate the extraordinary legacy of Thomas Bain, master road builder in South Africa. This is the spectacular Swartberg Pass, the challenging Baviaanskloof, and the beautiful Prince Alfred's Pass. It takes me on a journey of more than 2,200 kilometers from Cape Town all the way to Port Elizabeth and back. Thanks for joining me on this experience and to share the views. Bye. Bye, dankie. Dankie. Good morning and welcome back to Vander's View. Let me just make a U-turn here in the very broad main street of Steytlerville. Yes, I'm finding myself in Steytlerville. If you've not seen how I ended up in Steytlerville, please go and have a look at the previous video where I rode a very interesting road from Willowmore to Steytlerville via Kliplaat. It was quite an eventful ride. Got caught in a hailstorm, but made it to Steytlerville. Oh, Steytlerville is just a beautiful town. All these old early 1900s, late 1800s buildings. It's just magnificent. And then here in front is the new Gothic church of Steytlerville. Steytlerville in the Great Karoo is the mohair, well, one of the main mohair producing areas, of course. And here you can see some of the Angora goats. Highly valued mohair you get from those goats. And this is the church, built in 1907. Quite formidable. Seats more than 1,200 people. It's quite a big church. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the series that I call Riding the Big Three. Of course, the Big Three refers to three of the most important passes and roads that master road builder Thomas Bain has built. The first one is the Swartberg Pass, and that I did already earlier in the series. Today I'm riding from Steytlerville to Port Elizabeth, where I'm going to visit my sister Madeleine. But I'm not taking the shortest route. I'm taking the dirt roads. You cannot keep me away from the dirt roads. But yes, the other two big roads or passes that Thomas Bain built that I want to ride when I return from Port Elizabeth to Cape Town will be Baviaanskloof, which consists of a few passes. It's about 200 kilometers long, the total road. So that is a big one. And then also later in the series I will ride the Prince Alfred's Pass from Uniondale to Knysna. Now let the dirt roads begin. So if you watch the previous videos, you will know that I did a lot of dirt road riding already, and I'm simply continuing in this way. I mean, the GPS wants to take me in another direction, but I'm leaving Steytlerville in a southerly direction because this is a nice dirt road to ride, whereas the other road is a tar road. Thanks for riding along. I've been doing this, of course, on my Honda CRF 300 Rally, and if I was still in doubt whether this bike can do the roads or can take any road, I'm in no doubt anymore. I mean, I already did Baviaanskloof down to the Hell. That was a rough road. About 2 or 3 videos back you can go and have a look. And yesterday I had the worst conditions ever in terms of hail and rain that I ever ridden in, and just no problem. The bike simply keeps on going. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this trip. This is by far the furthest I've ever travelled from my home base in Cape Town. And as I said, my stop for today will be the city of Port Elizabeth, also known as Baviaanskloof. Yeah, look at the nice view back towards the Groot River here in Steytlerville. A beautiful, beautiful area. So we are leaving the Great Karoo now and heading to a metropolitan area. But before I get to Port Elizabeth, I'm going to visit a few places and I will talk about it a bit later. Yeah, I forgot to mention, of course, I stayed over in Steytlerville in the Royal Hotel. Now, if you're looking for a fantastic place to stay in Steytlerville, the Royal Hotel should be the place. It is just super clean, friendly people, a very, very nice courtyard at the back. I could take the bike in, all the rooms open up onto stoop areas. Just a fantastic stay. And I had also dinner last night and also breakfast this morning, so I'm feeling refreshed and rested. So that was a very, very welcome accommodation after quite a busy day yesterday. The Royal Hotel in Steytlerville. So I will put the link. I just booked it through lekkerslaap.co.za, so I will just put the link in the video description so you can have a look. And also I showed a little bit what the room looked like in the previous video, so you can go and have a look. Yeah, bit of washboard. There's no signs. Oh, there's a sign. Coxcomb. The Coxcomb, as far as I know, is a mountain range close to Baviaanskloof. We will see it later in the series. See, this road is also going that way, but I'm not going there today. Yeah, so we left the Groot Rivier mountains behind now, and we will now move in the direction of the Winterhoek Mountains, which is where the town of Uitenhage is located. I say Uitenhage, of course, that is the English pronunciation, but of course in the Afrikaans tongue it is known as Uitenhage. So this morning when I woke up, the sun was shining, but since I got to breakfast, cloud cover has come in. I checked the weather again. Apparently there is no rain predicted, but the clouds do look a bit ominous. But no problem. If the rain comes, I'll just pull out my trusty rain jacket again. This is just typical Karoo landscape. The Great Karoo, of course, you find the small bushes and shrubs. It's only where the rivers sometimes flow where you will find the larger trees, and mostly acacia or thorn trees. So as I've shown in one of my previous videos, I have re-kitted my bike with new luggage. I'm using the Turkana side pannier bags and also a bag, the turtle trunk bag at the back. And yesterday was indeed a big test to see how it performs when the weather really gets wet. Now that was particularly bad. It was hail and heavy rain. I was completely soaked, but I'm happy to say that the bags worked perfectly. Nothing got wet. I mean, it's got the inner bags that's completely waterproof, and you fold it in and it simply prevents anything from getting wet. So I couldn't have asked for a better test, and I'm super happy. So I bought these bags from Flying Brick there in Pardon Island in Cape Town. So I'm very happy about the recommendation and how they helped me to make the selection. Well, there are so many big tortoises here in the Karoo, and here in front is another one crossing the road. Fortunately they are so slow that they get hit by cars sometimes. Let's look at this one. This is quite a big one. Hey, mister. Yeah, so they can get very old. I mean, not sure how old that one is, but must be a good 20-30 years at least. They do get bigger, so, but that one is already sizable. Oh, Driekuilen. So we are passing Driekuilen guest farm where while a Karoo is running across the road and jumping the fence. How nice is that? To just see some wildlife. Yeah, so I'm passing Driekuilen guest house or guest farm. This is a waypoint that I put to got me onto this dirt road when I left Steytlerville. But of course, Driekuilen is a familiar name. You will recall there's also a Driekuilen private nature reserve in the area of Anysberg, close to Leeuwenboschfontein. So yeah, just interesting that the name is practically the same, but this one is quite a distance away. But here from Driekuilen guest farm it is another 113 kilometers to Uitenhage or Uitenhage. But I think I will remain on the dirt road for quite a bit before I catch up with the tar road that goes into Uitenhage. Oh, it's a bit wet here. Let me see, maybe just sticking to the harder parts. Yep, it's all good. So I'm not sure which mountains those are, but I presume it is the Windhoek mountains. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this road. I've never ridden or driven it, so this is all a bit of exploring. But I'm just loving this relaxed ride. I'm cruising only between 60 and 70 kilometers an hour, just enjoying the beautiful, beautiful scenery and actually just relaxing a bit. I think the roads will become much more busy once I get into the more metropolitan area of Uitenhage, Despatch and Port Elizabeth. So for now I'm just taking a relaxed ride. My total distance that I am planning for today is only 180 kilometers, so it is a bit shorter than previous days, so I have lots of time and it's actually, yeah, just relaxing. I must say this break is very welcome and I'm just enjoying every moment. And the sense of freedom, of course, you get on a motorcycle, I don't know, it's probably unique. Yeah, you have probably noticed it, but I suddenly realized I don't have my neck brace on. I have forgotten this in Steytlerville at the Royal Hotel where I stayed. That is quite, yeah, interesting. I mean, I didn't even notice it. I've gotten so used to it that I did not realize I have not put it on. So that is a bit of a problem. I do want to wear a neck brace. I just think it is a very sensible thing to do to be safe. So I will have to contact them and courier it to me, maybe courier it home, but I might have to go and look for another neck brace in Port Elizabeth, because I would not like to ride back home without it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I use the Liat neck brace, and it is quite an expensive piece of equipment, so I don't want to lose it completely, but I might end up now with two of them. Okay, actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I think, given that I have time, given the expense of the neck brace, I think I should make a turnaround and return to Steytlerville to go and fetch it, because otherwise it's only 64 kilometers back to Steytlerville. Of course, I'm not really wanting to buy a new one. It's going to be a few thousand rand for that neck brace. And then I will take the quicker route on the tar to Uitenhage. I did get to see this dirt road quite well, but yeah, that is unfortunate. Let me just make the turnaround now. Yeah, so the GPS says it will take me about an hour to get back to Steytlerville. So yeah, all good. Yeah, I have now made it back to Steytlerville. What an exciting ride. Where I started off this morning taking a very relaxed ride on the dirt road. In the end, the shortest route and the quickest route back to Steytlerville was again the dirt road, but earlier I rode around 60 kilometers an hour. Now I average between 80 and 90 kilometers an hour. So it was quite exciting, a different ride, but yeah, quite exciting to do, well, much more dirt road riding than I've bargained for today. Oh, the clouds are looking even darker here in Steytlerville. In the end, I didn't have a cell phone signal to make a call, so I just hope that, I trust they will have my neck brace here at the Royal Hotel, so I will just make a stop immediately there. And now my fuel situation is also quite low, so I will have to fill up a bit with fuel. Yeah, I hope it is not rain that is coming. Well, I did not expect to return to Steytlerville so soon again, but this is such a beautiful town. There's absolutely no problem. I think things are actually working out quite fortunate today, because I don't have that far to go, so I actually had some time at hand. So if this kind of thing happened now on maybe one of the other trips, I would not necessarily have had the time to go back. And wearing this neck brace is quite important to me. I want to take the necessary safety precautions, of course, when I do ride, so I will feel much more comfortable to putting my neck brace on again. This broad main street of Steytlerville is quite a unique feature of this town. Now, this street was apparently made so broad to allow Volkswagen to turn at both ends of the main street. So this is the legacy of Volkswagen that allows us to now ride in this beautiful broad main street. Oh, I'm feeling some raindrops falling. Uh-oh. I would probably want to take some, probably have to take my rain jacket out. But here is the Royal Hotel. Let me see if they've got my neck brace. Yeah, they were waiting for me here at the hotel. I said, yeah, you forgot something. And Shana, the manager, just brought it out. And she said she was a bit worried and didn't quite know what to do. And I said, no, I had to come back. It is just too an expensive item. But I've not spoken about this in previous videos. So let me just show you a bit more about this neck brace. So this is the the layout 5.5. I think you get different sizes, so this can fold in and out. That is the part, of course, it comes at the back, and then it's got the straps that fits around your shoulders. So yeah, and it also unclips then. It unclips to then put it on. Now, to me, the neck brace is a very important safety feature. I think it just supports your neck to not overextend if you will happen to fall, which I of course never plan to do, but I'm prepared. I will just feel much more comfortable wearing this now when I'm back on the road. So I just decided, why not take another coffee, just see whether the rain will maybe go pass us by a little bit, and then I will hit the tar road to Uitenhage. Well, I'm not so sure how wet this road is going to be, so I'm just going to be prepared and put on my full rain gear. So both the jacket and the pants. Yesterday I only had time for the jacket, so now I will put on both. This product is called the Alfred rain seal. I bought it there from Trackmat in Pardon Island in Cape Town. So it gives me a complete cover. So this will work, I think. I'm not sure how much it will rain, but I'll be prepared. All done. Okay, so I filled up now again here in Steytlerville. So the rain has stopped for the moment, although there's still a few drops. So similar to yesterday, I only have the one camera now on the helmet, the one that's connected to the wireless mic. So I will only take a bit of footage from the helmet. I also stowed away my phone. Now, although the phone is waterproof, if there's some moisture coming into the charging port, it might struggle to charge like it happened yesterday. So I'm just simply stowing it away, and I'm taking now a different route out of Steytlerville. I'm taking the tar road, and it's a 145 kilometer ride to Uitenhage. So I will just take a leisurely cruise on this tar road all the way, and maybe just show you a few snippets along the way. But otherwise I will catch up with you again in Uitenhage. So we are crossing the Groot River here. There's the Lady de Waal Bridge, which I spoke about yesterday. It was built already in 1913, washed away a few times, 1916, 1921, and then this bridge that we're going over now was built in 1974. So the Lady de Waal Bridge is not in use anymore. Okay, Uitenhage, Uitenhage. Let's go. Okay, now we're going through Vaaiport. I must say it's quite nice. I think this is the southern reaches of the Groot Rivier Mountain, so there's a few poorte here, and there's definitely higher lying parts of the mountain still on both sides of the road, so it remains an interesting road. Yeah, here we are. We're seeing the same kind of features that I showed in the previous video where we made a stop at Draaikrans. Currently this whole area, well, most of the Karoo was under sea 60 million years ago, and it is when these rock formations formed, when lava pushed out under high temperature and high pressure, and they set in these beautiful, beautiful patterns of twisting rock. Simply beautiful. But yeah, weird to think, under the sea, this part of the Karoo, 60 million years ago. Yeah, so as you can see, the sun is coming out. So I've made the decision to take out the other camera and also bring back my phone so that I can at least see the map. Hopefully that was the last of the rain. It is another 103 kilometers to Uitenhage. And as you can see, I've got my trusted neck brace back. Yeah, I'm just feeling much more comfortable. I think it was the wise thing to just turn around. I just made an impromptu decision to make a quick stop. Let me just see. I think this place is called Glen Connor. Just want to make a bit of a leg stretch. Once again, one of these abandoned train stations, it seems. Yeah, more ruins of buildings. Let me make a stop here just for a quick rest. Yeah, I just made a quick stop here at Glen Connor. I didn't know this place existed, but yeah, in the tradition of towns that we've seen thus far, where the decaying railway system leaves the towns basically deserted, I suppose Glen Connor also fits into that category. Yeah, I'm just going to take a sip of water, stretch my legs, and then off to Uitenhage. I'm now more than halfway from Steytlerville to Uitenhage. It's only about 58 kilometers to go. Yeah, this is the town of Glen Connor. I've never heard of Glen Connor, but now I can say it has featured on Werner's View, but it was certainly a welcome stop to just stretch my legs and drink some water. Yo, we have made it to a windy Uitenhage. The wind was really shaking me about, but we safely made it to Uitenhage. But it's still about 5 kilometers to the center of town. So maybe just a little bit of history about Uitenhage. Uitenhage is quite old. It was already established in 1804. And it is, well, Uitenhage, I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is. In Afrikaans we say Uitenhage, in English of course Uitenhage. But the name comes from the Commissioner General of the Cape at the time when it was established, 1804. It's a person with the name of Jacob Abram Uitenhage Demist. So yeah, there's quite a number of old historic buildings here, but in more recent times Uitenhage has become part of the Nelson Mandela metropolitan area, together with Despatch and with Port Elizabeth itself, of course. And yeah, today the official name of Uitenhage is not Uitenhage anymore. In 2021 the name was changed to Karoo. So the Karoo River also flows here outside of Uitenhage, and we have crossed it when I rode in. But Uitenhage is quite well located, and it is known as the garden town of South Africa, here at the foothills of the Winterhoek Mountains. And just an interesting fact, the beautiful Strelitzia flower is the official flower of the town of Uitenhage. But I want to go and look at a famous building that was built in the late 1890s. It is just about a kilometer or so down this road, so we will be there soon. We are now approaching the center of town, and yes, I can already see the famous building. So the building I'm referring to is called the Victoria Tower. I'm not sure if you can see it just behind those beautiful jacaranda trees there in front. I will make a closer stop just now. There it is emerging. It stays hidden behind the trees. But yeah, we are very much now in the center of Uitenhage. Yeah, just look at it. Look at this beautiful building. So this is the Victoria Tower. It's probably the most well-known building in Uitenhage. It was built between 1896 and 1898. Of course, it's named after Queen Victoria. This is towards the end of her reign, and it's been the law courts for some time in the past. I'm not sure what it's being used for today. That's simply stunning. Just a last look at the Victoria Tower. Oh, Caledon Street. I think this is the main street. It's called Caledon Street. This is downtown Uitenhage. So yeah, I specifically wanted to come and look at the Victoria Tower, and I think it didn't disappoint. On photos it looked magnificent, and it surely is a formidable building. But I'm going to make my way now to the next town. That is the small sister town of Uitenhage, and that is the town of Despatch. So let's go. It's only about 8 kilometers or so. Yeah, one thing that I didn't mention about Uitenhage, and probably today and for many years the main reason for its economic existence, is the very large Volkswagen factory, car manufacturing plant that is based here in Uitenhage. Now that plant, I'm not quite sure, but there I can see the Volkswagen, and there you can see this is probably all part of the manufacturing plant. So this is huge. In fact, it is so big that this is the biggest car manufacturing plant on the whole of the African continent. So this is very significant. Volkswagen, I know lots of Polos are being produced here, both left and right hand steering, so this is a major plant. Welcome to the town of Despatch. So Despatch is actually quite a long, elongated town, with this main road just running north to south. Yeah, so the town of Despatch is not as old as Uitenhage, and it has its existence or its origin mainly to one reason, and that was the fact that it was built, or that it is located in an area that is extremely rich in clay. So it became a major hub for production of bricks. So brick production is what caused this town to exist, and it was very famous for lots of exports of bricks happening from this town, and it is this dispatching of the bricks that explains the name. So yeah, that is quite interesting. So it means the literal dispatching is where the name comes from. I think we are now in downtown Despatch. Of course, Despatch is also very famous, of course, for one of the best centres in Springbok rugby history, Danny Gerber. He is a resident of Despatch, and he's arguably one of the best centres South Africa's ever had. I'm giving away my age a bit because I can still remember as a boy watching him play. Okay, so now it is off to Port Elizabeth, which is only 24 kilometers, but it is on a freeway. So let me just see how to connect up here. We are now very much at the outskirts of the city of Port Elizabeth. It's busy, busy, busy. Okay, we're just going to make a quick turn onto the N2 because I want to go to a special place, the founding place of the origin of Port Elizabeth. Just to go and have a quick look. Okay, now I just need to concentrate to take the right turn. Yes, I'm going to take the Settlers Way. I must say the highway and interconnections here in Port Elizabeth can be a bit confusing, so I'm glad I've got a GPS. You can just see what it looks like here in front, but at least I'm still on the right track, I think. Oh, it is shaking me around. Well, Port Elizabeth is also known as the Windy City. I'm getting a proper welcome. CRF, Honda CRF, I hope you can stay upright. So this is downtown Port Elizabeth. Yeah, but it is busy. And the wind is also blowing from all directions here. I suppose it's almost impossible to keep refuse in the bins when the wind is blowing like this. So maybe just a little bit of history about Port Elizabeth. Now, Port Elizabeth is by far the largest city in the Eastern Cape, and it is the sixth largest city in South Africa. It was founded in 1820 by Sir Rufus Donkin, and he named Port Elizabeth after his wife Elizabeth, that died in India. Quite a sad story, I think. But he named it after her. Oh, steep uphill. So there is a memorial to the wife of Sir Rufus Donkin, and that is the Donkin Memorial, which is a pyramid. So I think if we just go up here, we should be able to see it. This is quite a steep incline. Beautiful little townhouses here. Yeah, I like the balconies. Okay, I just want to check if I can get close to the Donkin Memorial. Oh, there you can see the pyramid. So Port Elizabeth, in 2001, the same as Uitenhage and Despatch, it became part of the Nelson Mandela metropolitan area. And in 2021, the name was actually changed from Port Elizabeth to Gqeberha. So Gqeberha is the official name of Port Elizabeth since 2021. And Gqeberha is the Xhosa and South Koo word for Barkens River, which is a prominent river that flows through the city. Yeah, it seems like I can just ride up to this memorial a bit to have a look. Yeah, so I just quickly took off my rain gear because it's a bit hot with the rain gear on, and I'm just going to make a quick walk here to the Donkin Memorial. I hope the bike keeps on standing because the wind is shaking it around a bit, so we'll make it quick. But let's just have a closer look. Yeah, so this is the four-sided pyramid built by Sir Rufus Donkin. Elizabeth Frances Lady Donkin, eldest daughter of the George Markham, Dean of York, died in India. She left an infant in his 7th month, too young to know the irreparable loss he had sustained, and a husband whose heart is still wrung by undiminished grief. He erected this pyramid in August 1820. He must have loved her a lot. To the memory of one of the most perfect of human beings who has given her name to the town below. And there is the town below. And this lighthouse was built in 1861, so this was to guide the ships into the harbour. So this is the Donkin Memorial, and probably the heart of the origin of Port Elizabeth. Well, this is the final destination of this trip, but there's two important stops that I just want to make briefly before we end it off. So let's hop on the bike and just go and check out probably two of the most beautiful buildings in Port Elizabeth. Yeah, the Honda CRF has made it to Port Elizabeth. So the first building I just want to go and have a look at is the main public library. Now this is no ordinary library. This is an architectural masterpiece. But let me just find it and I will talk a little bit more about it. But it is a little bit down here from the Donkin Memorial. So I want to go to the main public library and I want to have a look at the City Hall. Maybe I can have a look at the City Hall first. I can see the City Hall already there. Well, that is the City Hall so long. But to our left is... Oh, this is a one-way. Let me get out of the one-way. Let me make a turn here. And let's have a look at this magnificent building. I hope you can see it. So this magnificent Victorian Gothic building is the main public library, and it was built in 1902, so it's in the same year that Queen Victoria died. I think it is just fantastic. I mean, it was planned already since 1885, but it was built in 1902, and that statue of Queen Victoria was erected in 1903, so it is in commemoration of her death in 1902. This is just beautiful, beautiful. I hope you can see it in the light. This City Hall was built between 1853 and 1862, but the clock tower was added much later, 1883. Isn't it a magnificent building? So it's significantly older than the main public library. Both the City Hall and the main public library was declared national monuments in 1973. Well, this brings me now to the end of this trip. I've made it to Port Elizabeth. What a trip, what a trip. How far did I come? If I look at the total distance, 1,162 kilometers from Cape Town. Yeah, so it was quite a number of detours, but I trust you will agree with me that these detours were worth it. I'm looking forward now to spend 2 nights with my sister, Madeleine. So I will depart from Port Elizabeth again in 2 days from now with a completely different route. So please keep your eyes on this series. The next video will come soon. But if you enjoyed this trip, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And then what I will do is I will now just end off with a ride next to the famous beach area of Port Elizabeth. So please have a look, and then until next time, bye bye.